Sports Talk Chicago, here with Jon Zaghloul, and we are back and ready for today's special guest. He's the CEO of PointsBet, and he has a great opportunity coming here to the Chicagoland area. Please welcome Johnny Aitken to the program. Johnny, it's
Hey,
great to
John.
have you on. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for being here. Let me start with you now. How did this all come together here in Illinois, the PointsBet and Hawthorne partnership?
Pretty much since setting our foot on sort of US shores in early 2018, we made a beeline for the Chicago and Illinois market and really wanted to strike a partnership there. And from meeting with different groups in state, it was very clear early that the group we wanted to partner with was the Hawthorne Racecourse team led by Tim Carey. In many ways, they are like PointsBet. They're steeped in tradition around sort of customers, service excellence. They are the hometown sort of race course. They've been there for over 100 years. And that sort of tradition and history was something that was very sort of alluring to us. The fact as well that, they're, again, renowned throughout the state for their horse racing and their harness racing product. Coming from Australia as a kid and also working in the industry there, racing's part of the DNA of Australian betting. So there was a very close connection from day one with the two groups. And it's been a lot of work since to slowly build through sort of legislation within Illinois. And since the state went live for online sports betting, PointsBet and Hawthorne were the fourth partnership to enter the state. And we started taking bets a day before the first NFL Sunday. And, we've been live now for just on 9 days. And it's just been an historic first 9 days. We've smashed every record, every metric we set ourselves. We always knew the people of Chicago and Illinois would love to have a bet, but they've even surpassed that. So we're feeling, really excited about the month ahead. The Cubs and the Sox poised for deep playoff runs. The Bears are 2-0. It's a good time to be a Chicago sports fan.
What initially compelled you to even come to Chicago and focus on Illinois?
I think not only of it being a huge sort of populous state, you can just see the population and know that it's going to be such a large state for online sports betting. But
Sure.
Second to that would be just the love of sports. You've got 5 pro sports teams in state. You've got two MLB teams, the Bulls, the Bears, the Blackhawks. These are storied franchises. And we always knew, again, it was just going to be a huge market, not only with the population, but again, with those sports teams. You go down even to the southern part of the state, and in East St. Louis, you've got the love of the Cards, the St. Louis Blues, and there's also some bleed in from Indiana and other states as well. So we think it's going to be, it's definitely the biggest market that's opened up to date in the US, and it should be for some time remaining. Yeah.
What's your expectation now with the partnership moving forward? You guys mentioned you've been live for 9 days now. Hawthorne is the flagship. There are other spots too, though, across the state you guys are live in. I know Crestwood was one of them as well. So what's your expectation for all of this moving forward with the partnership?
Yeah, the thing about the partnership is we get to leverage each other's brands. We get to leverage that steep history and tradition that Hawthorne have gained in the market. And Hawthorne get to leverage, the most superior technology in state. We have the fastest app in market. And we also speak to Chicago sports fans like a Chicago person. We're not trying to push them into betting on the Yankees, into having a bet on the Lakers. We're serving them offers and unique experiences customized around the Bears, the White Sox, and the Cubs, for example. So I think what people can expect in state is as soon as they sign up to PointsBet, it doesn't take minutes, it takes seconds. Everything they do is quick, it's easy, it's really intuitive. And over time, our, again, hope and our desire is to make sure that, again, PointsBet's the number one sportsbook in market.
Johnny Aitken here on Sports Talk Chicago. And Johnny, let's go back for a second. For those who don't know, what exactly is PointsBet and how does it differ from your traditional sports book out there today?
So PointsBet's a legal online sports betting company. We were founded in Australia and exist in Australia. A little fact for everybody is that Australia is the biggest market for NBA outside of America in terms of the league pass, in terms of merchandise sales.
Really?
Australians are obsessed with NBA. Yeah, they're obsessed with NBA, also obsessed with NFL, MLB, and NHL. All of US sports, again, make up a huge part of activity in Australia. So when we launched in Australia, we really launched around excellence in US sports. We do offer still the most markets in the world for each of the 4 pro sort of US sports. And so when the time came to move our business from Australia to the US, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We sort of launched day one in the US with this huge offering on sort of US sports. We also have a point of difference product called points betting, and I'll quickly explain what that is. So in a normal fixed odds bet, you might have had the Bears, and yesterday they might have been -4. If they win by 7, win by 10, win by 20, in a normal fixed odds bet, it doesn't really matter in terms of your winnings because it's a fixed outcome and you typically double your money. With points betting, in that example, the more the Bears go over the spread, the more you win. So Mitch Trubisky yesterday, let's just live in a world where his passing yards were over under 300 yards. And let's say he threw for 400 yards. Well, he's beaten the spread by 100 yards. And so you'd win 100 times your bet. So even if you placed a $1 bet, you would have won $100. And it's the same on the inverse. So there is an element of risk. But with our technology, we allow people to customize the risk. So if they only want to play Mitch Trubisky up or down 10 yards, they can set it like that. But it really is a unique experience, and it taps into people where it's not about just being right, but about being really right and sort of, again, writing that opinion. The only place that they can place that bet is at PointsBet.
So I assume then, based on what you said there, this has gone very well here in America, right? That sounds so different, yet so easy for people to win more money.
It has. I think it's going to be a product that suits certain markets. And when I think of those markets, there's none that it's going to suit more than Illinois, in particular, people in Chicago, people that love their sports, understand financial markets and indices and the up and down of stocks. Right. This is very similar to that, and it's completely unique. And it's not only on those core team markets, but you can build it around player props and anything really of nature. Even in MLB, we have the slugging percentage over under. And so if you think, Baez is going to go Troppo tonight, you can really write in, again, your opinion. So, yeah, I think it's going to, again, connect really strongly with the Chicago market.
Now, let me ask you about the crowd booster effect. You have this promotion going on now. The first 3 weeks of Bears football, you place an extra 5-point spread for every 200 bets placed. So where'd that idea come from, and can you tell us more about that too?
I think in a nutshell, it's just to help us to stand out. I think a lot of people at times think the bookmakers simply want to get money off their clients, and that isn't the case. We want to inject some goodwill, and we want to be different. We don't just want to be another FanDuel or DraftKings. We have superior technology, but to expose more people to that technology, you have to be aggressive when it comes to promotions, and there's no more aggressive promotions, as you said, than the crowd sort of boosters that we've been running. On the weekend, we ran one for the Chicago Bears game, and we went straight away to +89, which sort of resonated with our brand ambassador, Devin Hester, and his sort of rushing yard record. So they are very aggressive promotions, but again, they're designed to expose more people to the technology. And once they see the PointsBet brand, they come in and again, experience the technology. We feel really confident that they'll sort of remain a loyal customer from here on in.
You mentioned Devin Hester. How did you get that partnership going? He's a legendary Chicago Bear. How did you kind of rope him into PointsBet and become an ambassador?
Yeah, I think we've always taken an approach that the US market isn't really a national opportunity. It's a state-by-state opportunity. And like I said before, you need to speak to each client in each state as a localized sports book. That's the difference. We're not a huge conglomerate. We're a business that has boots on the ground here in the US in each state, and we want to speak to our customers. So when we looked at entering in New Jersey, we partnered with Allen Iverson and Darrell Larivas. Allen obviously is a global icon, but from that Philly, South sort of Jersey area, he's obviously very popular. And then Darrell for North Jersey and New York. And, thinking through the same lens with Illinois and Chicago, we ran a lot of studies and really gained a lot of data on who were the true icons of Chicago sport that people really connected with. And, outside of Michael Jordan, it's Devin Hester. And we were rapt to get that result back from the survey, because not only is Devin Hester a huge household name in the Illinois NFL market, but he's also known for speed, and that's what we're about. We have the fastest technology. He was, again, arguably the fastest player of his generation, and so there's a great connection between PointsBet and Devin.
Johnny Aitken still here on Sports Talk Chicago. Johnny, I want to talk about your career now for a moment. What's your background, and how did you get PointsBet off the ground initially?
Pretty much since I was born, I've been just absorbed and sort of living a sports and racing life. My dad loved his horse racing. For my eighth birthday, I got a Patrick Ewing 33 top. I wish it was a Michael Jordan 23 top, but I think it was sold out. So my dad got me the next best thing at the time, which was Patrick Ewing 33. So I've always loved US sports. To think that I'd be sitting here as a person in my mid-30s working in sports betting in America as the market opens up for the first time, and working for a company that's led on supreme technology. It's about as exciting as it gets. And we haven't really scratched the surface yet of what's possible for the company here in the States, but we've made a very fast start. And for us, Illinois was always the market that we wanted to focus on, and thrilled to get live and, been sort of up and running now for 9 days.
What's next for the company? What's your plan for expansion after Illinois?
Our plan is just, again, to execute with precision. We want to, again, be a significant player in the Illinois market through our deal also with NBC Universal. We're the official sports betting partner of NBC Sports. And when you think about their footprint of assets, there's no market that they have greater penetration than the Chicago market. With their RSN, they're the broadcast rights holders to the Blackhawks, the Bulls, and the White Sox. So if you're a fan of those three teams, you're going to be seeing a lot of PointsBet, messaging, odds. We're going to make it, again, really enlightening. We don't just want to be another brand that's like wallpaper and in your face. We want to elevate the broadcast and provide contextual stats and moments that can be tied back to a sort of betting market. So we feel with the power of that sort of media partner, the power of the crowd sort of booster promotions, and then everything sort of wraps up into that supreme sort of technology. We feel we're going to be a very sort of dominant force when it comes to Illinois. And, we'll look to take that same care when we continue to roll out in sort of new states. A big market that's opening up in the near future is Michigan, I should say. I was there on Friday, and just another great sports town as well.
Let me ask you this. What's been the most challenging part of being in your position and trying to grow PointsBet in this rapidly expanding industry? What's the hardest part of your job?
The hardest part is just keeping the team sort of focused not only on the now in terms of execution, but also focused on the tomorrow. And we want to make sure that we're ahead of certain trends. One of those trends we believe very firmly in is the growth of in-play betting. So the ability to place a bet after a game has started. At the moment, that makes up around 50% of our activity. The other 50% is made up of pre-game wagers. I sort of predict in 3 years' time, upwards of 80% of bets will be struck in play. And that in-play experience is where, in some respects, the battleground's going to be set for competitors. And to be awesome and excellent at in-play, you need to have amazing technology because it's all sort of real time. You can't have any sort of latency. You have to have sort of visualizations of the game, statistics. Live streaming's a feature that we'll look to introduce over time, so you can have a bet and watch the game on the PointsBet app. And you also have to be excellent at bookmaking and putting up your own prices and creating these different micro markets. Think of an MLB game. We will have the technology sort of customized. So every at bat, you can have a bet where buyers get to first base, hit a home run, get struck out. You're turning what's one long baseball game into 600 or 700 sort of micro moments. So I'm really bullish behind the growth of in-play, and that's just one of many trends that we want to capitalize on in the coming years.
How about the most rewarding part of your job? What would that be?
I think it's the people at the end of the day. It's the people, both our customers and our own people internally. To hear the feedback that I get about the app, that it's the fastest app that sort of people have seen, to get feedback around the customer service, that we have our team sort of reaching out and helping people with any issue, and they've not experienced that before, that really warms the heart. And then I see the growth of the company and what opportunities that creates for the people at PointsBet. As I said, it's been a very fast start for this company, and we're a growing team, and we have a core group of people that are committed to excellence and nothing less. So again, it's a very exciting time to be at PointsBet and to work in sports betting as a whole.
Johnny Aitken still here on Sports Talk Chicago. Johnny, two more questions before we finish up. First off, what's the most memorable bet that you've ever made?
There's so many. I'd have to, for the relevance of this conversation, and it sort of pains me to say, because, I do think of myself as an American, again, having lived here for many years now, but I had a big bet on the Bahamas 4x400 meter relay at the 2012 Olympics. Got a bit of intel that there were a few sort of injury concerns with the American team, and that the Bahamas team were flying. And I backed Bahamas, I think, at plus 1,500, plus 1,200, plus 800. I just kept going at them. And I don't know if you sort of remember the race, but the sort of American team got off to an absolute fly. They led for the first 3 laps. And then on the last lap, the Bahamas guy got the baton and he sort of ranged up to the American team and he went straight past, and sort of Bahamas won gold. And me and my friends got some Bahamas flags and we put them up in our bedrooms. Again, we were a lot younger at the time, and the money we won was significant. I think it funded a few sort of overseas trips. So that's definitely the most memorable bet that I've had.
And before we finish up today, last question, what's been the funniest moment that you've been a part of in the industry?
The funniest moment? I don't know by necessarily if I call it funny, but again, I think the funniest moment has really just been where our company's grown. I think when we first got here, a lot of people spoke to us and they thought that PointsBet would just be a very small company that would make up the numbers. And in some respects, we were kidding ourselves, being from Australia, coming here and trying to compete against DraftKings and FanDuel. So maybe it's black comedy, but in some respects, I think that's quite funny, seeing where the company is now. And those people that I spoke to 2 or 3 sort of years ago, their sort of opinions changing on the prospects of PointsBet and where we're heading. We're very sort of renowned now in market, and we have a huge opportunity ahead, and we're going to be executing to be a top player in it.
Well, Johnny, thank you so much for joining me. Best wishes to you and the partnership here in Illinois, and best wishes to the company as well. You guys are doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thanks so much.